YouTube is a place where you can waste your time watching videos on religion, politics, feminism, video games, movies, music, and ASMR butt tapping. It's also a place filled with more drama and controversy than an Oreo cookie. Seriously, there's so much drama and controversy on this website that you could turn it into a reality show. The real content creators, love and YouTube, demonetization, am I right? Unfortunately, the two Nimrods writing this list are nowhere near that talented. Zion is a untalented cockface whose skin is so dark you can barely see him at night, just look at that burnt skin, and Brandon is a Sugar King loving loser who jacks off to food porn every night before bed. Ladies and gentlemen, here's your stupid ass, punk ass, bitch ass, motherfucking host, ThatKidDouglas.
Thank you. Look, we both know why we're here, so let's cut all the chit-chat and let's start the show. Are you ready, kids?
Aye, aye, Captain.
I can't hear you.
Aye, aye, Captain.
Number 10.
Onision, I love you, but you really need to stop doing stupid shit. And then again, if you stop doing stupid shit, making lists like this would be a lot harder. He and his wife Lainey have an open relationship in which they have several extramarital partners. One of these side chicks was a woman named Billy, who Greg broke up with because she smoked the sweet leaf. Lock this woman away. She's clearly a horrible person because she decided to smoke a little grass from the backyard. If you're thinking this sounds like a Young and the Restless episode, it gets even crazier. In order for Billy to be let back into the legion of side chicks, Greg demanded that she get a tramp stamp with the word liar. Then he demanded for her to be chained to a pipe in his basement. Very swell guy here, totally not psychopathic and abusive at all. Then when she refused, he leaked their private messages in one of his videos. You know, Greg, if you're tired of people stalking you, then maybe you shouldn't reveal every little detail about your personal life, because when you do that, you only give the stalkers more ammunition to make fun of you with. And breaking up with one of your side chicks because she smoked a little weed is beyond stupid. In fact, your entire life should be called Onision Beyond Stupid. I would say that you're a gigantic pussy, but that would be an insult to cats everywhere, and they shouldn't have to be compared to a piece of shit like yourself.
Number 9.
This civil war started when the edgiest edgelord of all time, Darkseid, released a trailer for a video he was going to make on the commentary community, which caused the Neo-CC to flip out harder than a crackhead on the Don Valley Parkway. Darkseid and his Joby dim-sounding compatriot, Just a Robot, not only labeled everyone in the Neo-CC as scum, but also referred to them as the cuck commentary community. While the Neo-CC thought the Alt-CC were a bunch of whiny crybabies who should stop complaining and learn to accept criticism, referring to them as the Salt-CC. As you can imagine, both sides do nothing but attack each other, or as Eric calls it, pointless bickering that will lead to nothing. I could spend a few more minutes explaining this whole thing in greater detail, but I've already made 2 videos doing just that, and let's be honest, this drama is so old and played out that it may as well be a repeat of the Spax 3 drama from 2008, so let's just move on.
Number 8.
Some people believe that the word nigger is an ugly word that should never be used by anyone, while others believe it's a form of dark comedy. To say this word is controversial and divisive would be an understatement. However, there's one YouTuber that's never been afraid to go against what's PC, and that person is Ian, better known as iDubbbzTV. iDubbbz has used the N-word in a few of his videos, albeit in a lighthearted comedic manner. One person in particular was not happy with this, and that person was storytime teller Tana Monja, who took to Twitter to call him a racist, while also saying that he should kill himself. In response to this, iDubbbz drove all the way down to San Francisco to one of Tana's meetups and said this.
Say nigger.
Tana tried to play the victim and lie about what really happened. She claimed that iDubbbz was loudly yelling "say nigger" and that she felt uncomfortable around him. She even claimed her life was in danger. Of course, nobody believed her ridiculous story and laughed her ass all the way back to fake Storytime land. iDubbbz responded with a content cop making fun of the entire ordeal, which made her look even more stupid than she already was. What makes this situation even more hilarious is the fact that Tana used the N-word herself numerous times in the past, although she tried to claim she didn't know the word was racist and offensive. I don't know who's dumber, Tana or the Atlanta Falcons for blowing a 24-point lead in Super Bowl 51. Tana got her 15 minutes of fame before sliding back into irrelevancy, which is where she belongs. When will YouTubers learn that it's not a smart idea to go against iDubbbz? You are going to lose, no matter what. Shout out to the chinless master himself, #RIP Leafy.
Number 7.
Onion Boy has another entry on this list, and this one is a doozy. He sent a cease and desist letter to YouTuber JoySparkleBS because she made numerous videos calling Greg out on his bullshit, because as we all know, Greg isn't very good when it comes to accepting criticism. He went so far with this that he actually threatened to sue JoySparkleBS with that cease and desist letter I mentioned earlier. There's just one problem, it's completely fake. Can we stop the music for a second? First of all, her name is JoySparkleBS, not Joy Sparkles. Second of all, who the fuck writes a legal document with their YouTube name? Who the fuck is Gregory Onision? Was Jackson not good enough? Did the Outkast song Miss Jackson trigger you so much that you became incapable of using your actual last name? And third of all, if you're going to attempt to sue somebody, you probably shouldn't write your own legal document based on a stolen legal document template that you stole from a legal site. Predictably, nothing happened because Greg is one of the biggest pussies on the internet, who's all bark and no bite, and everybody pretty much laughed at him. While I sometimes wish Greg would just go away and crawl back into whatever hole he came out of, his viral soap opera antics are so entertaining that I can't help but laugh. In fact, Greg got so triggered by JoySparkleBS that he sent me a video message describing how he feels about her. So let's cut live to the Pickering Parkway terminal to hear the glorious gospel of Onision. Take it away, Greg.
Is an egg. And this is your grading when you watch a JoySparkleBS video. These are my fucking sparkles! Look at these fucking sparkles! And half of you motherfuckers can only dream of being a stalker like she is.
Number 6.
If you Google my name on YouTube, you get shitheads like this dude who are making these dumbass videos that just say the same shit over and over again. It's like, I hate giving you attention because you're a garbage human. Whatever, dude. But it's, you know, like the fact that these dudes are making endless videos that just go after every feminist over and over and over again, I think is a part of the issue of why we have to have these conversations. We don't just get to be online.
Anita Sarkeesian has been a lightning rod for controversy since 2012. To say that her tropes vs. women in video game series is flawed is like saying the English dub of Sonic X is terrible. Both are incredibly obvious. Her ideology is so warped and her way of thinking is so backwards that numerous YouTubers have made videos criticizing her work, with one of her most prominent detractors being Carl Benjamin, aka Sargon of Akkad, who has made numerous videos deconstructing Anita's numerous fallacies, which wouldn't be a problem if she didn't equate all of the criticism towards her as sexism, misogyny, and harassment. It all came to a head at VidCon 2017 during a panel she was a part of which discussed online harassment. Sargon, along with a few other YouTubers, were in attendance. They were not there to troll or harass. They were there to give her a chance and listen to what she had to say. And she got triggered. Really triggered. I'm talking like Jigglypuff triggered. She let her emotions take control and ripped into Sargon, calling him a garbage human. You heard that correctly, a panelist attacked an audience member during the panel, which is a violation of one of VidCon's policies. And what did Hank Green do? I'm glad you asked, because it's time for a game of the Young Heroes Obvious Questionnaire. A. Was she kicked off the other panel she was slated to attend? B. Was she banned from attending future VidCons? C. Did she get a slap on the wrist in the form of an apology? If you answered C, then you are absolutely correct. Here's a lifetime supply of special snowflake tears. Hank didn't even bother to get Sargon's side of the story as he only spoke to Anita. That's called bias. That's called being one-sided, which makes Hank and the entire VidCon organization look corrupt and unethical. Anita published a blog post on her website about the incident, which was Anita being Anita, while media outlets like Polygon sensationalized the story and lied about what really happened in order to paint Anita as a hero. I firmly believe that Anita is a despicable human being that doesn't deserve any kind of success. Not just because she scammed people out of their money and didn't finish Tropes vs. Women in video games, but for what she did to Sargon, Boogie, and Liana. And as much as I wish somebody in the mainstream media had the balls to stand up to her, I understand why they don't, and it's because she has the power and influence to destroy people's careers. And that, my friends, is a scary thought. I Must Destroy All was once a well-respected member in the ranting community. That respect was shattered when his true colors were unearthed. He was exposed for trying to solicit sexually explicit photos from a 15-year-old girl. More specifically, he wanted pictures of her ass. He constantly demanded photos from her, and when she didn't comply because she felt uncomfortable, he would berate and insult her until he got what he wanted. Real upstanding citizen here. The underage girl in question screen capped the conversation and sent it to a YouTuber named Marbles, better known as Devil's Fruitcake 69, who made several videos calling MDA out for this. In retaliation, MDA falsely flagged numerous videos that exposed his shitty behavior in an attempt to make the scandal go away. Things only got worse when several YouTubers caught wind of the scandal, including Mr. Repsion, Ranter and Shades, Burn Coalition, and myself. He didn't make a response until 2 weeks later, but it wasn't under the MDA character, it was under his real name, Matt Karp. He tried and failed to convince anyone of his innocence. Instead of taking responsibility for his actions and admitting what he did was wrong, he shifted the blame towards both the victim and the numerous people who made videos calling him out for being a pedophile, calling us all liars that were making this up for attention. What I just said was not a joke. This fucking piece of shit actually said this as a way to defend himself, because everyone knows that trying to obtain pictures of a 15-year-old girl's ass is a totally normal thing. At the time of writing this, no charges have been filed against Matt, which means it's incredibly unlikely he'll face any jail time. Regardless of that, his YouTube career is pretty much done. He's burned through every possible bridge you could think of, and the ranting community seemingly wants nothing to do with them. All in all, it's a sad end for someone who was once well respected.
Number 4.
In 2007, YouTube launched the Partner Program, which allowed YouTubers to monetize their videos and make money off their work. This program became so popular that YouTube made monetization available to everybody on the site, not just partners. Everything was fine until September of last year, when advertisers started pulling their ads from YouTube en masse due to increasingly controversial content involving ISIS, rape, and suicide. This caused a massive drop in ad revenue. Some YouTubers had their videos demonetized while others were making a fraction of the money they used to, and it only got worse in 2017. After PewDiePie was dropped from Maker Studios for a video that featured two guys holding up a sign that said "Death to all Jews," advertisers once again started to pull their ads from YouTube, while YouTube itself started to crack down more and more on controversial content that might offend others through demonetization. It's gotten so bad that many YouTubers have opened up Patreon accounts to make up for the loss of ad revenue, as many content creators rely on YouTube to make a living. As of right now, there aren't any plans to try and fix this. No discussions, no compromise, nothing. The adpocalypse is real, my friends, and if you dare to make content that is slightly controversial, your bank account will become drier than a cougar in her 60s.
Number 3.
OmniPolitics 16, Jen, and Austin Jones are pedophile sympathizers. Do I need to say anything else? Lyle Vieira, aka OmniPolitics 16, made a video condoning pedophilia and was bold enough to say that kids can have sexual feelings. He was called out by Andy Worski and Blair White for his support towards such a disgusting desire. A few days later, he was invited on Worski Live to debate with Andy, his brother Chris, and Blair. The debate didn't go too well. In fact, it was a complete shit show. A few months later, Omni was arrested for possession of child pornography. A few months later, another channel by the name of Jen made a video in which she tried to justify pedophilia. She also advocated for kids to be taught sex at a young age. Like Omni before her, the reaction to her stance on pedophilia was cataclysmic to say the least. And then, a month later, popular YouTube sinner Austin Jones was arrested and charged with 2 counts of child pornography. He also made several of his teenage female fans send him explicit videos of themselves doing things that underage girls shouldn't be doing. On top of all this, he also made a few videos teaching these underage girls how to twerk. Even though he hasn't been convicted, Austin could be potentially facing 30 years in prison. At the time of writing this, no decision has been made, but I sincerely hope the judge throws the book at him so we can't do this ever again to another defenseless, vulnerable, underage girl. For the love of Jesus H. Christ, don't these 3 scumbags know any better? Could they have at least had the common sense to not indulge in these despicable acts? Maybe they should invest in a mirror and then punch themselves in the face until they figure out what the hell is wrong with themselves. That is why OmniPolitics 16, Jen, and Austin Jones earn the dubious dishonor of being the number 3 spot on this list.
Number 2.
Mike Martin, also known on YouTube as Daddy05, and his wife Heather were called out for a video titled Invisible Ink Prank. This fantastic video showcased him and Heather pulling a prank on their son Cody. They blamed him for spraying black ink on the carpet, and they are fucking brutal about it, screaming and swearing at him like it was no tomorrow, while Cody is bawling his eyes out. But everything was totally fine because they both said, "It's just a prank, bro," because verbally abusing your kids is totally considered a prank. Give me a break. Numerous YouTubers like Philip DeFranco and Mr. Epsilon called them out on their despicable behavior, with DeFranco pointing out that most of Daddy05's content consisted of bullying Cody, whether it's smashing Cody's iPad, slamming Cody against the shelf, or just berating Cody for the fun of it. Daddy05 received so much backlash and hate from the YouTube community. It also received international attention on social media and all over the news, which caused them to privatize all of their videos, due to all of the hate and death threats they were receiving. They were also investigated by CPS for child abuse, which wasn't even the first time it had happened. Mike and Heather took a shot at Philip DeFranco and numerous others for exposing the abuse of their children, which they claimed destroyed their life, which made no sense at all, because they were completely fine with all of the despicable shit they were doing up until the moment people called them out for it. They eventually apologized in a video, stating that they don't condone child abuse, and that in the future they would make changes to their content to make it more positive. Basically, their apology meant nothing at all. Oh, and it gets even better. They had the balls to go on national television on shows like Good Morning America and lie to everybody saying they weren't shitty parents. It was a show. It was fake. Blah blah blah. I'm throwing up in my mouth. Talk about throwing themselves a pity party. Do I really need to say anything else? As a matter of fact, yes I do. Rose Hall, the biological mother of Emma and Cody, stated in a police report that her ex-partner got custody of Emma and Cody because Heather lied about Rose being an unfit mother. Mike gained custody shortly thereafter, which is when the abuse truly started. This scandal going public changed all of that. On May 1st, Rose got emergency custody for both Emma and Cody, which reunited them with their biological mother. Daddy05, more like Daddy03. The despicable nature of these events easily earns Daddy03 the number 2 spot on this list. Before we get to number 1, let's take a look at a few honorable mentions.
Number 1.
The Wall Street Journal pulled off a coordinated attack against the most popular channel on YouTube, PewDiePie, for a social experiment joke that said "death to all Jews." PewDiePie gave $5 to 2 guys on Fiverr and told them to say "death to all Jews." This was a social experiment meant to showcase that people will say anything as long as money is involved. Unfortunately, this ended up backfiring for Felix when the video resurfaced and the Wall Street Journal article went public. On February 15th, Maker Studios, who was PewDiePie's longtime MCN, decided to drop him due to the fact that their parent company Disney is and will always be a family entertainment company, and as such they didn't want the kinds of messages expressed in the video to be associated with their brand. Not long after that, YouTube decided to cancel the planned second season of his YouTube Red show, Scare PewDiePie, while also deciding to drop him from their Google Preferred advertising program. Certain news outlets deliberately took it out of context. Not just that, but the Wall Street Journal slandered him, calling PewDiePie a racist and an anti-Semitic. Basically, they labeled him as a Jew hater. The YouTube community decided to take a stand against the Wall Street Journal. Ethan Klein from H3H3, Philip DeFranco, and numerous other YouTubers decided to stand with PewDiePie with the hashtag #IStandWithPewDiePie. It was a strong showing of solidarity for PewDiePie and the YouTube community, which sent a clear message: don't slander us or you'll pay the price. On February 16, PewDiePie finally responded with a video apologizing for what happened, while simultaneously taking shots at the Wall Street Journal and lambasting them for taking his video completely out of context. He also told the Wall Street Journal to go fuck themselves. I'll join you, Felix. Go fuck yourselves, Wall Street Journal. So PewDiePie and the online media, congratulations, you are a winner. You are the #1 YouTube controversy of 2017. Whether that's a bad or terrible thing is completely up to you. I originally intended to end the video with that last statement, but a new development has occurred and I want to talk about it because it directly relates to everything I just discussed. A few days ago, during a live stream of PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, Felix accidentally uttered the N-word. Now, it's important to explain the context behind this. The N-bomb wasn't dropped because Felix had an intent to be racist. It was something that was accidentally dropped in the heat of the moment, something which he quickly corrected and apologized for. This wasn't enough to stop the onslaught of easily offended special snowflakes who look for any reason to get offended about something. Game developer Campo Santo, best known for the game Firewatch, have publicly announced their intention to file a false DMCA claim against PewDiePie for his Firewatch videos as well as any other titles they develop in the future. Now, you guys know I have an utter disdain for anyone that files false DMCA claims. I've said it many times before and I'll reiterate it here. If you file false claims for any reason, I have no respect for you whatsoever. False DMCA claims hurt both YouTube and YouTubers. It ruins careers, puts innocent channels in bad standing, and is overall both slimy and morally bankrupt. Companies and individuals shouldn't be striking down people with false DMCA claims purely because they don't like them. Let's not make any mistake here. This is not being done because of copyright or fair use. It's being done to silence someone who said something they didn't like. And what's even more scummy is the fact that they're actively reaching out to other developers in an attempt to blacklist him from the industry. That's 2017 for you folks. You can go around saying how awful and racist white people are and advocate for their murder, but if you accidentally utter a racial slur, people will attempt to destroy your career over it. This is such a non-controversy that it's almost not worth talking about. But I'm talking about it because I'm an avid defender of copyright, fair use, and freedom of speech. If one thing isn't okay, then everything isn't okay. You can't just pick and choose what you get offended by purely because you don't like what someone said. Campo Santo, I think I can speak for most YouTube content creators when I say, please do not file these false DMCA claims. I know it seems tempting in the heat of the moment, but the long-term damage you'll do to your company is far greater, because if there's one thing the internet hates, it's copyright abuse. And is it really worth incurring the wrath of the internet because you got triggered by Felix accidentally uttering the N-word? You're wielding copyright as a weapon and having what essentially equates to a temper tantrum because you got offended by a word. Think of how stupid that sounds. Some might label me as a racist and a Nazi for speaking out in the way I'm doing right now. I can assure you I'm neither of those things, but I'll stand behind my belief that false DMCA claims are inexcusable and undefensible. And all you're doing, Campo Santo, is convincing people to not support your future products. And considering how volatile and unpredictable indie game development is, alienating your own audience is the last thing you want to do. Sorry for that long, impassioned speech, but this was an issue I feel was worthy discussing because it doesn't just affect PewDiePie, it affects all of us as content creators. To end this bonus section, I'll play a clip of Felix saying the word that should not be named, and you can decide for yourselves whether or not he's actually racist.
What? What the fuck is happening?
What the hell was that? The potato was fucking insane. I was holding it so fucking straight.
What a fucking nigger. Jeez, oh my god, what the fuck? Sorry, but what the fuck? What a fucking asshole. I don't mean that in a bad way, Jesus fuck.
Thank you guys so much for watching the top 10 YouTube controversies of 2017. Me and Brandon had so much fun putting this together, and I hope you guys enjoyed watching it as we did making it. So, yeah, a lot of crazy stuff we have coming in 2018. We've got a brand new show called Dumb Moments in YouTube History that'll be coming in January, so look out for that. Again, huge shout out to Brandon Nathaniel for co-writing this with me. I appreciate it. Thank you, Brandon, for doing that. It was a lot of fun working together and putting this list together.
It was a lot of fun. It felt like we were news journalists, on the other hand.
Yeah, I mean, in a way, because we've developed the list pretty much throughout the year, and we have very similar sensibilities, and we've been working together since 2013, so we have very similar sensibilities, so it was a lot of fun working together. So, yeah, what else can we say? It's been a great year, and I look forward to 2018. Should be great. Oh, and one more thing before we go. me and Brandon will once again be teaming up to co-write next year's list. So, yeah, look out for that next year on Christmas Day. So while you're eating your turkey and your cranberry sauce or stuffing or whatever else on Christmas. Okay, now I'm just rambling. Anyways, with all that being said, this is ThatKidDouglas, aka the Young Hero.
And this is Brandon Nathaniel, aka Big B217, wishing you all a Merry Christmas
Signing
and a happy
out.
2018.
Yes. Signing out, deuces. Stay frosty and keep it weird. And have a wonderful and Merry Christmas.